So, as she threatened the other night over and over again, Alexa Nikolas has leaked the drive. Actually, not the drive. It's kind of complicated. Alexa leaked the link to a sloppily redacted police report where Drake Bell's victim's name and other identifying information is at times visible because it is not from the courts, it's from the Cleveland Police Department. But she was implying through her live, I thought, and everyone who I've asked also thought, that the drive she kept threatening to leak was, gonna include everything that she had sent along to Kat. All the stuff that answered those questions that she rushed through because they didn't have time, because she spent like 30 minutes talking about how until Drake Bell, she had never ever realized that a victim could become an abuser. That's not what Alexa linked to on Twitter today. Alexa linked on Twitter, interestingly, unsurprisingly, disappointingly. Those are 3 words I use about Alexa a lot. Alexa linked on Twitter to something that is not at all vulnerable to her, that does not put her in any situation where she's going to be questioned, doubted, or challenged, but does put that victim in a situation to be questioned, doubted, challenged, frankly, outright doxxed. Something that somebody as concerned about privacy and safety as Alexa would be if she cares as much about stalking when it happens to anybody but herself, that she would have maybe thought through sending documents that she's been told are unredacted without checking all of the redactions. Something she either did not do because she is not responsible enough to check that before she circulates something like that, or it's something she just doesn't give a shit about because she felt like this exonerated her to put out these files. Hi, by the way. I am Ophi YouTube videos. I am a feminist and a lesbian, and I make conversational commentary videos about both of those things. I'm pulling an Alexa because right now it is the middle of the night. I can't sleep. I'm upset about this. This is the worst thing that I'm aware of Alexa doing yet, and I'm aware of Alexa doing some really terrible things. This one really hits, I think, as a betrayal to everything that she's ever even pretended to stand for. Despite her promise that she had deleted Twitter, Alexa returned, and she returned to just casually blow up the life and the safety of a survivor. A survivor who has over and over again had their claims against Drake Bell brought to the public, questioned. Somebody who suffered enough when this all was happening in the first place. Suffered more through the court case in 2021 and being publicized that way, even though the judge literally was like, she's a minor, please don't show her face. A lot of people showed her face. Even Alexa showed her face, actually. When Alexa did that live she deleted. Because Alexa has never actually cared about the safety and privacy of survivors. She's cared about what can drive subscriptions her way, what can get her super chats, and what she can give really tearful and slow reads about. Because she's not a really good actress, but she knows how to sound like she's about to cry. Stuff like that. So I'm going to catch you up. This should not be as long of a video as the last one was, but I've been catching you up on some Alexa related things recently. So if you haven't watched my video about her live stream about journalist Kat Tenbarge from NBC, I said MSNBC like an old lady in my last video. It's apparently not called that anymore. But anyway, Alexa was attacking Kat for asking her what are very basic journalism questions about an article Kat was working at the time for NBC that has since been killed because Alexa is irrelevant. Adam hadn't even used the word irrelevant in his video about her. He conveyed it. Like, the point was there. The tweet he read said that she was not newsworthy enough, but she either found the word irrelevant on another tweet, which I know she has been called irrelevant on Twitter, and I certainly have been calling her that since. But I think she just found a tweet and was really, really mad about it. And that's why she said irrelevant a bunch of times, because I watched Adam's video again and I had already thought this while I was editing it, but he did not say the word irrelevant. And I want to swat away some nonsense just right now. This being something that there was technically a link to does not matter, because this was not a link that comes up if you search Drake Bell minor court case Cleveland, right? Alexa got this link from somewhere. She's still obfuscating who she got this link from, or why she didn't send this link to Kat instead of the instructions she got to get another set of documents. I have theories about this. I think back at the time when Alexa would have decided she wanted these documents, she still had enough clout that pretty much any shitty true crime YouTuber would have happily handed over their research. So she probably got it from one of those people who got it from when the original Freedom of Information Act request was done in 2022, before Eat Predators was even a glimmer in Alexa Nikolas's grifty $ eyes. Her husband responded to me on Twitter. He thought this was some kind of a checkmate, that somebody else had done the Freedom of Information Act, because I had responded and said, okay, so if this came out in 2022 and you didn't know until Quiet on Set came out, this isn't your request, so how did you get them? She didn't respond. Her husband did. I want to go over that, and we will, but I just wanted to point out the issue here is, even though these were technically available, they were not widely publicized. They should not be widely publicized. Alexa should know enough to know that these should not have been widely publicized. She just doesn't care. Alexa's claim that, to my knowledge, these were never sealed is bullshit, because what else is a Freedom of Information Act other than an unsealing, right? These were not always publicly available. These have not been publicly available to the general population. These exist online, and a bunch more people have them downloaded now, thanks to Alexa Nikolas, who decided that she needed to distribute this on a wide scale. But it shouldn't have been. And again, if this is a link that Alexa just had this whole time, why isn't that what she sent to Kat instead of sending her all of the documents? Why didn't she just confirm that then? That's what makes me think that she didn't have this link. She had the documents that were given to her, and then she was like, oh fuck, oh god, I need the link, and that's why it took her 2 days to produce it on Twitter. That's what I think. She needed to find a way out of sharing the drive she kept promising she was going to share, because that had some shit she probably just doesn't want us to see on it. Shit about her, because she doesn't give a shit what we see about this survivor. And yes, parts of this are redacted, like the part that she showed on her Twitter the other night, but other parts seem to be redacted sloppily, and the parts of it that aren't redacted, from what I've heard, now that Alexa has linked this all over her socials, they don't make Drake look good. I mean, of course they don't. Alexa is acting like this is some smoking gun, like there's something in these files that completely exonerates Drake, but to those of us who haven't been completely hypnotized by the opportunity to hitch our wagon to a former network colleague right as we were gaining relevancy for Quiet on Set, what those documents actually are is not a smoking gun that exonerates Alexa for supporting him. It is why Drake had to take a plea deal. It's the information they have against him. It looks really bad. It would have been much worse if he had not accepted the plea deal. That's how plea deals work. This is something I thought Alexa understood, but apparently not. But I have to imagine, considering that these documents, and I'm not reading them, I'm not downloading them, but I do have friends I trust who have taken a look at them for their own purposes and who have corroborated this to me. It confirms things like Drake asking, how old are you now? Which implies he knew her when she was younger, which he did, and which we know he did. A birthday card? He sent this teenage girl a birthday card? And it does seem to have, from what I've heard, and from what Alexa seemed to have been referencing when she kept being like, I saw things in there I didn't ever want to see. It confirms that there were explicit messages back and forth. It confirms that there were explicit messages. And those nasty ab pics of Drake. And you know what else it confirms? And I don't know if this is the forensic evidence that Alexa and Michael Gray have both been touting as if it is some kind of smoking gun. Because if it does, they are even less informed about anything to do with victim advocacy than I thought, which, I mean, remarkable feat at this point, is something to do with how they didn't have all of Drake's sent text messages because he successfully deleted some before they got his phone records. So if that's why some of the things that she's talking about aren't there, because I don't know what they're referring to, because Alexa is vague, because I do not believe Alexa has read these documents. I think Alexa got a sob story from Drake Bell, believed it, and then has to try to convince us that she has some kind of larger reason for believing it other than the fact that she is spineless, pathetic, and out for herself. But these confirm a lot of things that a lot of us already knew about this Drake Bell case. It also doesn't make his witnesses look good. I mean, I don't want to talk about a lot of the details. Again, that's why I didn't want to read them. I don't want to look at this and disseminate it. But if Alexa can share shit, so can I, right? Do you know who Drake Bell's witnesses are? Because I double checked with my friend Danny, who's like genuinely a Drake Bell expert at this point. These witnesses, these people who Alexa and her husband have decided to believe over this victim, are a woman named Darlene, who is the victim's aunt's ex-best friend. Not the victim's aunt. People have said it's the victim's aunt. It is not. It is the victim's aunt's ex-best friend, somebody who the aunt stopped being friends with because of this. And Darlene gave her statement to the police after she had already spoken to Drake Bell's private investigator. In her statement to the police, she mentions that she had told the victim that she spoke to a private investigator. So Drake was what? I don't know, maybe having people tell his people what the story was ahead of time is my thought when I hear that, right? So, okay, maybe this other witness is credible then? Okay, Kathy is, and this isn't confirmed from the documents. I mean, it might be, but I knew this months ago, again, because of Danny. Kathy is best friends with Drake Bell's mom. Out the window. I don't believe her. I do not believe this person over the testimony of somebody who says they were victimized by Drake Bell. Nobody should believe an abuser's mom's best friend over the person that the abuser abused. And Kathy's statement to the police, like, there are notes from what I've heard. Again, this is coming from my friends who have read it. There are notes from the police saying that portions of what they're saying are not reliable. That Kathy changed her story about if the person who she's saying is there when she left Drake alone with this poor girl. She changed the story and said at one point that it was a roadie. She said at one point that it was somebody who worked for the venue. I assume probably when they wanted to speak to somebody who traveled with them and was there that night and they realized maybe that it didn't fucking exist. I mean, I'm not pro-cop or anything, but the cops wrote down about part of her testimony where she said that she was able to see into the room, that it was completely impossible for her to do that. And Alexa somehow finds this more credible than the victim's testimony, the testimony she was crying about on stream. Cool. I do have to imagine that Drake Bell is not happy that these are out, right? Because if he truly thought that they actually exonerated him, the link to this would be his pinned tweet. I can't check what his pinned tweet currently is. I've been blocked for a few months now ever since he came and commented on my video about him, but I don't think it's that, right? So that is at least one thing, is I'm pretty sure Alexa has not just burned her credibility and her career, but also this bridge that she burned her credibility and her career for. That's kind of nice. I would love it if she can't even get her ass into a Drake Bell concert from now on. I do think she deserves that. So Alexa tweeted that link and she said, "Kat lied to everyone and defamed me with malicious intent. These documents shared privately to her via a G Drive when questioned by her were not sealed. I sent them to show her that they were not sealed. They are public redacted records." And then the link, here they are. And when people were unable to open it on mobile and assumed it was just like a list of files, she tweeted again just to make sure that everybody knew how to download the documentation of Drake Bell's abuse and reckless endangerment of this minor. Tweeting, "Get on an actual computer and you can easily download the public redacted records. Kat lied to Adam and maliciously defamed me in the process." So scary. Scary. Fucking scary, that's the word she uses, because she doesn't think it's scary for this victim tonight. This young woman whose information, including private and sensitive information, including her fucking trauma, her grooming, her abuse, and the shit that Drake Bell got people to lie about her. All of that, Alexa just blasted out to 35,000 people on Twitter and 279,000 people on Instagram. Just right out there because she felt like it made her look good. Do you remember all that shit she was just talking about Kat on stream the other night? The journalist who asked her neutral and normal fucking questions, who she said was re-traumatizing her by asking her side of the story for an article she was working on? And now Alexa has absolutely no qualms with what she has done tonight is going to put that young woman through. Again, she still hasn't specified exactly what it is in these documents that has helped her so much now that she decided that she sees Drake as a person. So I imagine it was something coming from one of those witness testimonies. And the one who was friends with the victim's aunt went off on like an unprompted anti-Semitic rant against the victim. And that wasn't disqualifying for Alexa, because that kind of shit is not disqualifying for Alexa. Because she does not give a shit about any kind of activism, advocacy, intersectionality, leftism, whatever the fuck she's been pretending to care about ever since she decided that advocacy was a good grift for her. I don't understand how she could do this. I don't. And I got into a bit of a back and forth with her husband because I was mad. My response to Alexa was, you didn't know Drake Bell was in quiet on set until right before it came out, but these documents were requested in 2022, so it still appears you did not get them from the court yourself, correct? And her husband responded, the clerk directed us to the public police website, which shows all requests, available for everyone to access for public safety. Checkmate. Kat is a liar and an unethical journalist denying evidence to defame Alexa. And so I realized that they weren't understanding that the issue is that people are mad that Alexa is refusing to say how she got that link. So I tried another question. I said, so to clarify, Alexa would be totally fine with court documents that had previously been sealed being sent around by a YouTuber who had decided they really liked Rye? As long as it was possible for somebody to have accessed that, she wouldn't care if somebody with a large platform was spreading it around? I don't think that's true, and I don't think you know what a checkmate is. You're both doing so much damage to your reputation as advocates. And then Michael responded and said, they were never sealed ever. They were public records available for request. Publications and other journalists have requested them for years per the website. Do you understand what that means, okie dokie? And I said, yeah, so the issue people have is that you and your wife are hypocrites and nothing that you're saying is making you sound less hypocritical. So even if it's true on a technicality that this link was public, nobody's going to trust your wife ever again after this. And shouldn't. Heart, the smiley face with the hearts around it. I love that emoji. And he said, how are we hypocrites? Everything Alexa said was true with receipts. We have been transparent and honest throughout Eat Predator's existence, especially with Kat, who is dishonest and spreads misinformation maliciously. It is your choice to live in delusion and denial. And I said, you're in denial if you think that it's not hypocritical to say none of your business when a journalist wants to know case status, but to go expose a victim's court files on Twitter. You both think Alexa is the only victim who's ever existed besides Drake Bell. Credibility is dead and buried. Either it's none of Kat's business how the case Alexa has been talking about in public is going when Drake's victim isn't giving interviews about it, or it's everyone's business what's in these files and how Alexa's case is going. I didn't get a response to that one. We did have one more back and forth. He accused that Kat Tenbarge was my BFF, which made me laugh because we had not spoken in private until yesterday, but we did speak for the first time because I sent her his really sweet tweet about how we were friends, and now we're friends. So he did that to himself and to his wife. I hope he feels great about it. We had a really great little talk. And then Alexa posted the fucking picture of the fact that you can download the documents and said, for those that still doubt. And I said, hey Alexa, just so you know, if literally anything happens to this girl, even if she has a shitty day because of this, and I'm sure she is, it is on you. It is your fault. It is even more directly your fault than anything you were trying to pin on Kat. You're being a monster. And that ratioed her, which I know she's probably really upset about. Because I said ratio just to annoy her. That's why I feel pretty sure she's annoyed. The only thing that Alexa actually seems to have confirmed on Twitter of any interest, other than the fact that she has reached an unbelievable new low, and I will never forgive her for this, and I don't think anybody else ever should either. And I'm literally not even joking. Like, I do think that this is a line that was too far, and the fact that she did this because she's throwing a little baby temper tantrum should not be forgotten. She threw this victim under the bus, and it's not the first time she's done that. She does that in her Guess Who streams. She did that in Nick Carter's fucking deposition against his victim. Is that what an advocate would do? I don't think it is. She retweeted something Kat had tweeted before, like a screenshot of it, but she said, "Oof, your own words, but let's throw in your provable malicious intent. Bias, too. Leaking of private work documents to a third party to encourage harassment and misinformation. Doesn't this make you more of a blogger than a professional journalist, Kat? Deliberate damages." And I realized something, so I tweeted her back. I didn't get a response to this one, but I said, "So, you confirm that the document from Armie Hammer's lawyer is because he's working for you and it's a legal document and that's why you said leak and not forged? Perfect, thank you. You're finally being forthcoming about something other than your love of Drake Bell." I'm really, really mad she did this. I just wanted to hop on and talk about it and tell you what I've heard about it so far. Obviously, this is not the long Rise and Fall of Eat Predators video that I was talking about. I'm wearing a shirt I usually paint in. It's just the closest to how I felt today. I wanted to talk about this a bit. It is just such an intense escalation. I was really hoping that she would never leak this drive, and I thought that if she did leak the drive, it would at least be something where she was uploading the documents and also other documents about herself. To do it this way, to put herself in absolutely no risk, absolutely no discomfort, absolutely no pain for her, just for this victim who has been through so much pain already, who Alexa has already profited off of and then betrayed after profiting off of. That's fucked up. I genuinely think the fact that Drake Bell got away with this without being a registered sex offender is a miscarriage of justice. I do, and it's the kind of thing that his lawyer brags about getting people off for all the time on his website. Maybe they compared notes on how to hire a slimy little lawyer, but I do want you to remember that Alexa is doing all of this for a person who was talking shit about her in his Discord, like, just earlier this year. Obviously, I'm not your mom. I can't make you not read these documents now that Alexa has linked to them, for just my own feelings of not wanting to feel like I have betrayed this survivor, though I don't want to read something she doesn't want out. My understanding is she doesn't want this out. She would be talking about this if she wanted to talk about it, and if I was going to listen about it, I would not listen about it from somebody so connected with Drake Bell anyway. I also think if Alexa actually was aware of what in these documents is supposed to be so exonerating to him, she would have mentioned it. That's another reason I think she genuinely just has not read through these. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she read them and she just really is that morally deficient. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I've been talking about this since like April or whatever, but this is just, it's an escalation. It's an escalation that I saw coming, that I knew was coming, that I was dreading a lot, and that she did, and that I've just been really, really wound up about. So if you do read these, be really thoughtful about what you share from them. And I mean that saying even like the things that make Drake Bell look bad, we should probably be really thoughtful about what and how we disseminate it because of what that does to the victim who was having those things done to her. If you're going to read it, if you're the kind of person who already reads that kind of stuff when it comes out, you know, like, I guess, but I think Alexa Nikolas tried to set up a game to see if we're all as bad as she is, and I think we don't all have to be. I don't need to read that document to decide that I still stand with Drake Bell's victim. I don't understand why she thinks this document is exonerating when it is the thing that led to him pleading guilty. I don't understand how she thinks she could still have any kind of credibility after pulling a stunt like this, and I think she doesn't. I really don't think she does. I mean, I ratioed her twice today on Twitter. My video about her last live stream has more likes already than her live stream itself does. Not anywhere near more dislikes, though. All of this because a journalist wanted to know if she had gotten these documents from Drake Bell. And all of this without actually answering where she got the documents. Thank you so much for all of the amazing comments, and to everybody who reached out to thank me for my last video about the live stream. I had been, like, I mentioned this in the last video, I've been having, like, a rough couple of weeks pain-wise, so I haven't been filming as much, and it felt really good to make something and then be able to talk to all of you again. I really appreciate the things that a lot of you have had to say in the comment section. I thought it was really astute when people were pointing out that this is the framework for her to be able to get away with anything that she wants to get away with in the future. She's framing that whole survivors can become predators thing so that it's not bad when she's a predator. And I think that's something that I've kind of been circling around since my first videos on the subject too. Like, She wants the pass that Drake Bell provides. I just don't think he's as much of a pass as she thinks he is. Maybe she went to that Drake Bell concert and it made her feel really special because the only place Alexa Nikolas is actually famous is at a Drake Bell concert and she's otherwise irrelevant. So she was like, I have to have this all the time. But I don't know. I'm glad that she's so able to see the child inside of Drake Bell, as she mentioned in her live stream, because I'm sure the 11-year-old girl she acts like gets really fucking lonely. I said what I wanted to say mostly in my responses to them on Twitter, so I just kind of wanted to make a video saying, I said that, I didn't really get an answer, other than the Andrew Brettler thing seeming to be confirmed by her using the word leak and not accusing it of being a forgery. We didn't really get any answers, other than the answer to the question, can Alexa Nikolas be even worse than I thought she was? Yes. I need to do some more reading and I need to reach out to some sources and gather some things. I did read through some of her deposition when she went and testified for Nick Carter, and I think she's disgusting. Even if she really was deposed, even if she didn't really have any option, she told so much interpersonal stuff and name-dropped so many members and former members of Eat Predators in this statement. Like, it feels like she was intentionally trying to out as many people and make them unsafe as she could. It is weird and fucked up and bizarre. It is as bizarre as she was pretending Kat's completely normal journalism email was. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to censor names, obviously. Also, like, nobody has really done this in my comment section, I don't think, but I don't like saying the victim's name here, even though this is now going to be even more public information. Thanks to Alexa, I think she deserves anonymity, so I refer to her as the victim, the survivor. The word survivor feels really gross and sarcastic to me now because of Alexa, so I've been kind of reverting back to using the word victim. I don't mean that, like, disparagingly. I mean it like, you know, I'm acknowledging what she's been through, and I also don't really have a neater way to refer to her because I don't even want to use her initials. I really appreciate that my concern for her is something that is shared by so many people in my audience. I love you all a lot. I'm really happy that we have this space where we can talk about this, and also this space where so many of you knew that we would be gathering to talk about it when all of this started going down earlier this week. I should go to sleep, but I'm gonna just edit this video and then post it, I think. I love you all very, very much. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm sorry that this is a bummer update. I wish I had better news. I wish Alexa was better at what she was pretending to do, but she's not, and I don't. I put this in my script, and then now I feel like I'm doing the, like, Marvel movie so-and-so will return in. But, like, we are going to talk about Alexa again in my next video where I follow up on the It Ends With Us stuff with Blake Lively. We'll get there when we get there. It'll probably be relatively soon. If you're interested in more videos from me, you can check out my Patreon where I try to upload 2 extra videos a month. The first hour and a half of my next big long one is already up there. So if you're interested in seeing what the Chapel Roan Parasocial Pony Club video is going to be like, you can subscribe to the Video Enjoyer and above tiers over there. I also have like coffee for one-time donations. If you're interested in a way to support me financially, it makes a huge difference. I'm like can't work disabled. I know they were really mad on the Snark Reddit for some reason that I've mentioned before when asking for money that I have a disability. It's because disabled means can't work. It doesn't mean I have to give you my diagnosis. It means can't have a job. Yeah? What do you think? Anyway, that's all for now. Would you prefer, when I do talk about this deposition thing, do you want that to be its own video, or should I wait and put that in the Rise and Fall of Eat Predators one? Fuller deep dive first, and then kind of skim it in the Eat Predators deep dive? Like, I don't know. I like having these individual videos. I think it's useful to be able to get things out quickly because she acts out very quickly and she deserves to be called out for it, and that's apparently my job. I love you all very much. I love this job. Don't love Alexa, though. Have a nice weekend. I love you.